What's happening, mate, dudes? Welcome back to the Triple Lock channel. Hope you're all doing epic as per usual. We'll do a little talking head video today, and just a bit of a random one. I saw it up on a beginner rider group on Facebook, and somebody had asked, when do you stop becoming a beginner rider? And I thought, what a good but very subjective question. So it got me thinking, when does that transition actually happen, when you go from being a beginner rider to a more experienced one? And why I say it's subjective is simply because we all learn at different paces, do different tasks and activities, and you know, different ways of learning. You know, some people learn better by doing such and such, and some people learn better by doing another way. Now, I mean, I learned in a variety of different ways. I got a bit of time really where there wasn't so much like YouTube to venture information from, and it was a case of, you know, you and your mates sort of going out, and one person might pick up a little trick and tip or whatever, so, you know, word of mouth. They sort of see that you're doing something a little wrong, like, I don't know, for example, dragging knee around roundabouts back in the day. Oh, Sam, you're looking a bit twisted. So, you know, looking a little bit twisted up on the bike when you're just trying to drag a knee. Little things like that. Or, you know, some of the older lot, when you get a bit of a ride out with them, and you know, they mention that you got to be in staggered formation, for example. Just little things like this. They're all examples, of course. But anyway, I digress. It's that was really sort of how we learned, but man, I wouldn't really say that that's how we became an experienced rider. I think it's just one little piece of the puzzle at a time. So when you stop being a beginner rider, I guess, in my opinion, for me more so, was after I had a few crashes under my belt. I knew, you know, I started to realise where I went wrong, and instead of just instantaneously blaming everybody else for my dramas, you know, it was more of a case of, I then started to turn that blame inwards and try to work out what I needed to change, what I could have done better in each situation. You know, I suppose when you sort of grow a bit of a maturity to riding motorcycles, because, you know, when you're a rider, you don't quite know, you don't know how to control the machine well. You don't know, you know, especially if you're new to the road in general, you don't tend to turn that blame on yourself, because you're so busy trying to find out the reasons why others may have caused that drama for you. I mean, it's all about ego. Yeah, I suppose dropping the ego, that's a big one here. And the reason I say dropping the ego is because once you've achieved that, you start to relax more with your riding. You don't, you know, start thinking you're the big I am. And I've mentioned this also before in one of my previous videos about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Hey, squirrel! Squirrel! Nearly got squished. Yeah, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos before. It was in my top 5 top tips or something for motorcyclists, and it was to do with the Dunning-Kruger effect. Obviously, the Dunning-Kruger effect, quick brief overview, is basically where, you know, you start to feel your ability increase, so you believe that you're better than you are, you feel like you are better than your ability is, and it will then show in your riding. You start to push yourself harder until you then come unstuck. And to overcome the Dunning-Kruger effect, you must pull yourself back a bit. You know, you must realise that you are progressing some, and then realising that you are pushing yourself further, and just dial it back a bit, enough to control yourself. So that's how that works. And I believe once you realise that, that also accounts for, you know, realising your experience as a rider, that you're not a beginner so much, because you realise your faults and flaws and things you could work on, and, you know, you realise that pushing yourself too hard too soon usually becomes unstuck. So you have that foresight to know that's not quite a good idea. Sort of going back to dropping that ego, some other riders don't believe they've got more to learn. You know, that comes into the ego. Like, we all can learn something new. there's always something new to learn. You know, none of us are perfect, none of us have learned everything. You know, you could be a good rider, but there's still more that can be done, new challenges to be set. And I think once you've got that in your head and you realise that, I think that also adds up to realising that, you know, you're not such a beginner anymore, because you accept that fact and you're always willing to push harder and learn more. So I suppose rolling up into that would be sort of taking some new classes, some new ways to develop your skill sets, you know, such as, you know, hitting up the advanced riders or the police safe rider class, wheelie school, track days, you know, maybe even hitting up a motocross track and trying a different discipline. You know, BMW motorrad skills, where, you know, they teach you how to do off-road on GSs and how to control the bike better. You know, I mean, there's so many courses out there to give a go, and I think if you open your mind up to giving them a try, it could be quite rewarding. So that's, I suppose, another way, you know, being quite open-minded into courses and things like that. Oh, hang on, I'll go open up with the guys if it gets a little bit windy and noisy or anything. Ooh, it's hot. It's not actually hot, guys. I mean, I hope you've all been getting out and about, even though the weather's starting to take a little bit of a grim turn. I mentioned it many times in my videos before about getting out and about in the in a not so savourable months. Anyway, sort of back on topic really. And I suppose let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to, you know, realising your experience as a rider. I suppose it would come down to, you know, when you actually get onto the bike, how do you feel that your control measures, you know, to how when you first started riding? You know, do you feel that you can just jump on the bike? Do you feel you can just jump on the bike and confidently handle, you know, without even thinking about the controls? Is it instinctive that you just jump on? It's all, you know, muscle memory, all second nature to you. Because that's the thing, I know when I jump on my motorcycle, even on the days I don't feel as coordinated, I mean, my hands and my feet, you know, my head still does the exact same thing every time. You know, it looks where it needs to go, and, you know, hand using the clutch and everything like that. It's all, you know, it's all down to muscle memory. Once you get to that point, I would say that also goes towards your credibility into not being a beginner rider anymore. Now, really an important one is how you are assessing the road and the situations that will arise or could arise. You know, how are you scanning the road? Are you just sitting there in a dream in a la-la land? Are you still blaming other road users for your mistakes, you know, just because you didn't see them? You know, are you positioning yourself in the best possible place? Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't just a, you know, a bashing session to say, hey, you've got to be perfect, because nobody's perfect. I make mistakes many times, you know, at least one mistake every ride, you know, where I kick myself and, you know, I should have done better than I did. And I know some of the most experienced riders who still, you know, balls up a junction, a turn, or a filter or whatever, you know, just to get through, just to do whatever, and then they go, oh damn, that's a bit of a risk, I didn't even need to do that. I do it all the time. But are you practicing being as safe as possible? Are you practicing your emergency stopping and your techniques and these things? You know, that's a great measure as to whether or not you've sort of pushed a bit further on and you know, come out of the beginner stage, because you're still on the ball, you're still trying to better your technique, you know, with, you know, self-progression and practice. You know, I mean, it's, like I said to you at the start of this video, guys, it's a bit subjective, it's a bit of a talking head random video. It's not like, you know, there's no structure to this whatsoever, and there's no definite answer to say, yeah, you definitely ain't a beginner rider anymore. But it's all about self-assessing, you know, it's all about working it out for yourself that, Okay, yeah, you know, I've definitely progressed some, but also taking a slice of that humble pie and pulling yourself back a wee bit and realizing that, you know, we all have still room for more to learn, always. And I think once you've got that dialed in your head, you know, that is key. You just keep telling yourself there's more to do, more to learn, more to see, more to practice. And I think once you got that dialed, guys, I think then you're in a good spot for, you know, your experience as a rider. You know, especially when you're thinking less about all the controls of the bike and more about how you can better you controlling the bike itself, rather than, you know, oh, this does that, that does this, I wonder what happens there, you know. So guys, in a nutshell, go and research as much as you can, go and learn as much as you can, you know, go out and practice all year round, you know, get out on the bike as much as you possibly can, and put in that time, put in those miles, you know, get out with some people who are experienced enough to show you a few more things, but without having that egotistical mind where they just want to show off and, hey, look how fast I can go, can you keep up? You know, because that's not what you want. That's not you're not going to learn from that. And don't worry in your head if you are a beginner rider. Just drop that worry. Nobody cares. You know, I don't care. I don't care if I see someone who's a beginner rider. I never put them down. They are a rider nonetheless. They're the same. The fact they've chosen to jump on these two-wheeled machines is, you know, that's an achievement all on its own. And when they carry on doing it, that is definitely an achievement. You know, they don't get scared by, you know, or put off by the first either tumble or drop or first bit that causes them some fear. You know, they just carry on, and that is all that matters, man. Alright dudes, I hope this is giving you guys something to think about, you know, even if it may seem a little bit all over the place, but unfortunately it is a bit of a topic that is all over the place. You know, there is no definite answer. It is just about what you think, what you feel. Nobody else can judge what you do. You know, just enjoy riding, and the rest will just follow. Alright my guys, anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below, guys. I want to hear, you know, where do you believe you're at in your riding, I suppose, I don't know if you can say it like this, but riding career, your riding time. Yeah, and I want to know, I want to see how you feel. Just yeah, let me know. I want to hear all about it. Alright my dudes, if you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe as always. It's very, very helpful. We're nearly at the 200 mark now, so hopefully that's nearly 200 people that, you know, are taking some information and taking it away with them. That is incredible. That is way, way more than what I ever believed that, you know, I would ever achieve, to getting that amount of people to, you know, into what I'm doing. So thank you very much guys, you are all incredible, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out my dudes.